Hi lovelies, Lauren here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be taking you through a lovely little slow flow. So today is all about taking our time. We're going to stay fairly low to the ground as well, so you can keep your fluffy socks on if you're like me, and you can incorporate any kind of props that you need, so any blocks, cushions, blankets, anything you feel you might need just to give the body a little bit more support. And our theme for our practice is looking at how we can surrender into each pose a little bit more. So if that sounds good, come and join me on your mat, and we're going to start in a seated forward fold. So as you come into easy seat, just making sure you've got your left shin crossed in front of the right first of all. And this might be kind of our least dominant side maybe, so it might feel a little bit strange crossing the legs this way. But as you arrive, take a few moments to settle those sit bones down and towards the ground. You might find a tall spine first of all, crown the head to the sky. And as you exhale, bring the fingertips out in front. Walk the fingertips out as far as you want to today. You might find that the elbows can come down towards the ground, and you might be quite happy just to let the head hang here. You can incorporate a block if you wish, letting the forehead rest on top of the block. You're giving that neck a little bit more support. Or alternatively, you can rest your head in your hands and either supporting the chin or maybe your forehead, whichever feels best for you. And just settling into this space, and straight away we're going to kind of feel that little release across our lower spine. It might feel kind of like a gentle stretch, or it might be feeling slightly more intense for you. So if it is, again, just take a couple of breaths. Know that you don't have to stay here with that level of intensity. You can dial it down a notch if you wish. But straight away, we're going to see if we can kind of tap into this idea of surrender. What does it mean to truly surrender? That word, sorry, can hold so much weight to it, so much meaning behind it. And it doesn't mean to kind of simply just let go. It means letting go of everything. Letting go of fears, pressures, worries, expectations. Letting go of any obstacles you may place in front of you. And once we really, truly do surrender, we might find just a brief moment, a subtle glimmer of what it might be like to be free. So there's this sense of freedom, there's that sense of trust, of knowing even. So throughout our little slow flow today, continuing to surrender as best as we can, peeling back those layers, little by little, bit by bit. And by the end of our practice, maybe finding that tiny glimmer of what it might be like to be free. So as you rest here, take a couple more breaths. Breathe deep, breathe well throughout the entirety of our practice, filling up the lungs entirely. And we can take a couple of releasing sighs out through the mouth, so we don't need to necessarily worry about any particular pranayama practices. We can just let the breath be as it is, but slow and steady. Maybe we take one more breath here. One more exhale. Inhale, slowly push down through the fingertips. You're going to rise back up. As you come all the way back to seated, just lean to your right slightly, and you're going to take a nice big sweep of that left leg all the way back behind you. We're going to work our way into pigeon, but if you know that pigeon pose is a little bit intense for the hips or the knees, you can stay in this bit more of a right angle variation. So you've got right angle in both knees, and you can have both hands just in front of this right shin here. This might be enough for you. If you want to go a little bit further, we shift the weight into the hands to lengthen that left leg back. Maybe play with the angle of this front shin and just take a moment to kind of settle into this space. Whenever we kind of come into a new posture, I think it's really key just to find out where you want to be in this posture. So you can keep the arms fully extended, you might keep the heart lifted. maybe again you start to work your way down. Beautiful. And again, forehead to the hands, to a block or to the mat, your choice. Trying to keep the hips square as best as we can as we fold over. And our practice today is incorporating a lot of these forward folds. Sometimes all we need is a loving forward fold. It's almost like giving your body a little bit of an embrace, a little bit of a hug. As we ground down to our mats and we soften and we stretch. So we're going to stay here for a little bit of time. If you're feeling this in your hips, just see if you can send breath there, send a bit more softness, a little bit more lightness. Beautiful. And just seeing if you can sink deeper and deeper as we stay in these poses longer. Over time, we gradually just release that a little bit more. And it can take a lot of time. There's no rush. As I said, we're really taking our sweet time today. So the intensity of the pose might build, or you might just find yourself sinking into it. We're going to take maybe 3 more breaths in your own time, slow and steady. Maybe 1 more. And then once you've finished your final breath, lift the forehead, lift the gaze slightly. Gently push down through the palms. Take care with each transition today. So taking our time to move the body from one place to the next. So once you lift the chest, gently come to sit on your right hip again. I'm going to sweep that left leg back forwards and around. This time crossing it over the right knee. So that left knee is going to point up to the spine. Now as you arrive here, you might notice that you're still kind of leaning to that right hand side and that left sit bone doesn't quite meet the mat here. If that's the case for you, we can simply go ahead and extend that right leg to make sure we can stay firmly rooted down through those sit bones. So you might be here today, or you might be here, and that can change every time we come into the pose. Every day is different depending on how we're feeling and depending what we're bringing to the mat. So again, take the time to notice. Let's bring our left hand back behind us. Gently push down through the left fingertips to rise up high. Wrapping right arm around your left thigh and just hugging that left thigh into the chest. If you do want to have a bit more of an anchor into the twist, you can hook the elbow instead. It's entirely up to you. Because sometimes, again, it's quite nice just to take a little bit of an embrace, hug that thigh in. Beautiful. So coming into a little twist and see if we can find this twist from our center resonating outwards. So it's not so much about where you're sending your gaze, where you're looking to come further into the twist. You could be continuing to look out towards the side, but you're twisting from your center and then letting it just move outwards. Beautiful. Take 1 more breath here. 1 more exhale. Let's inhale, slowly unravel in the upper body. As you unravel, bring the hands back behind you. Then we unravel the legs as you lean into the hands so the soles of the feet come down towards the ground. Take a big breath in here. As you exhale, just start to peel the hips away from that and push the hips as high as you want to go. Maybe we find this nice long line from our shoulders to our knees. Squeeze into the muscles of your bum. Take a breath. Exhale, release all the way back down. Lovely, sit bones down towards the mat. Let's repeat all of that on the other side. So we cross the legs. This time, right shin is in front of the left. Take a moment to grow tall, find steadiness. Exhale, you fold. Beautiful. And don't feel as though you have to fold to your maximum straight away. Again, take your time to get there. Notice how one side feels a little bit different compared to the other, maybe. So you might feel on this side, there's a little bit more limitations here. Perhaps this feels a little bit tighter on this side, or maybe there's a bit more space here, space to breathe, space to sink further. And again, bring back that block should you wish, or letting the head rest into the hands, or just letting it hang down towards the mat. And continuing to surrender here and allow yourselves to give it into gravity, give it into the earth, knowing that the earth is there to support you as you move through your practice today. Well done. Let's spend a few more breaths here, continuing to check in on your bodies. And if the mind is kind of wandering off here, again, it doesn't matter, just see if we can bring the mind back to our breath. Continuing to send our awareness throughout our entire being. This is your time to practice. Take one final breath here. One more exhale. As the inhale, slowly push down through the fingertips, walk the hands back towards you, rise back up. And then leaning towards the left as you sweep right leg all the way around. So and again, you can take this kind of half pigeon option, keeping your right angle in both knees, bring the hands in front of the left shin. Or maybe you shift the weight forwards into the hands to lengthen that right leg back slightly. And again, take your time. Find what feels good for you as you begin to enter the posture. And then just discovering where you want to move further to today. Lovely. And even whilst you're here, maybe noticing places we might be gripping slightly, holding onto something. So, for instance, here we might be gripping in the hips, maybe. So again, coming back to that idea of sending the breath to these places where there might be a little bit of tension and just seeing if we can encourage a little bit more softness. Spending perhaps 3 more breaths again. One more final breath here. Beautiful. Slowly rising up. This transition can take as long as it needs. You can even take about a minute or so just to kind of bring yourselves out of pigeon into the next pose. So again, no need to rush. Gently come onto the left hip, swing your right leg all the way back around, crossing it over the left knee, making sure both sit bones are rooted down towards the mat. Again, you can extend the left leg this time should you wish to. Again, get nice and rooted down. And then when you're ready, right hand comes to the ground behind you, using as a kickstand to keep the spine nice and tall. Let's beginning to hug the right thigh into the chest using that left arm. Beautiful. Twisting from your center, resonating outwards. And we know that twists are a great tool for giving the body a little bit of a detox. So whilst you're here, imagining again peeling back another layer. Perhaps it's a layer of negativity or any toxins you need to let go of here. Just let them leave you now. Beautiful. Take one more breath in. One more breath out. Inhaling, unraveling in the upper body first. Lean into the hands back behind you as you then unravel the lower body, soles the feet down towards the mat. Let's take that reverse tabletop once more. Take a breath. Exhale, hips to the sky. Lovely, well done. You might like to let the head drop back behind you, only if that's okay to your neck, so do feel free to keep the chin tucked towards the chest. Take another breath. Exhale, slowly control the hips back down. Now as the hips land, cross the ankles. It doesn't matter which way around this time, but maybe we can send the body all the way up and over through the legs and make your way back into your tabletop. Now, if that transition doesn't work for you, know that you can simply swing the legs around to one side. Find your way into tabletop in a way that suits your body. As you arrive here, Hasta Bandha, hand to earth connection. So spreading the fingertips down in towards the mat. Wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Neutral spine first of all, and then move through your cat and cow. And again, see if we can slow this down. Dropping the belly down, lifting up through the heart, lifting the tailbone. Beautiful, gazing straight ahead. Maybe take a breath. Exhale, tucking the chin down towards the chest, tuck the tailbone under, push the ground away. See how high you can lift those shoulder blades up to the sky. Beautiful, let's go a couple more times. Dropping the belly down, lifting the chest, lifting the tailbone. Beautiful stretch for the front of the body here. As we exhale, move into that curve. So by slowing it down, we're really tuning into the internal mechanics of this movement, being truly aware of what's happening in the body as we move. So again, feel free to move at your own pace, in time with your inhales, in time with your exhales. Just a couple more times. Keep it slow. Beautiful, well done. Perhaps you're coming into your final round now. Okay. And then on your next inhale, come back to that neutral spine, neutral tabletop. Bring your left hand a little bit more towards the center, so perhaps it's coming more underneath the face. And then we're going to sweep the right arm up to the sky. Big stretch here. Keep the hips square as best as you can, twisting from the shoulders. Reach up through the right hand, breath in. And as we exhale, let's dive the right hand down, thread it underneath the left. Gently bring the right shoulder down towards the mat. Beautiful. The hips stay lifted over the knees here. You can gently bring right side of the face down towards the ground. Stretching right fingertips away. And we're going to keep this left hand down first of all. So you're kind of tenting into those left fingertips. So your left elbow is pointing up to the sky. And then see if we can push down through those left fingertips a little bit more to roll that left shoulder further back. So sending your gaze kind of underneath this left arm here. Beautiful twist for the shoulders. So this is more of a twist for your upper back here. Beautiful. Lovely. Take one more breath maybe. One more exhale. Lovely. Slightly tricky transition here. So we're going to take it slow. So keeping the twist, keeping right arm reaching towards the left. Slowly let your hips melt back towards your heels. You can kind of push down through that left palm as you go. Slowly start to roll it through the spine. Find that your right hand meets the outside edge of the left knee. And you're going to sweep left arm back behind you. So we come into a kneeling twist. Beautiful. See if we can roll that left shoulder back. Maybe follow those left fingertips with your gaze. Take a breath here. As you exhale, you can stay here, or maybe you wrap this left arm around your lower spine, seeing if the fingertips of your left hand can meet that inner hip crease on the right hand side. They might not, it doesn't matter, but just aiding that twist. So again, further rolling that left shoulder back. Maybe look back behind you, just staying here for a breath. And an exhale. Beautiful, gently unravel. Come back through the center, send the hands back out in front, neutral spine in your tabletop. We're moving through that on the other side. So first things first, right hand comes more towards the center. Sweep left arm up when you're ready. Stretch out through those left fingertips. Try to find a nice long line from one arm to the other. Breath in. Exhale, dive it down. Left hand reaches over towards the right. Underneath that right arm, gently bring left shoulder down. Left side of the face down. Hips over the knees. And again, just seeing if we can push down through those right fingertips. Right elbow lifts up to the sky. And then roll this right shoulder back slightly. Beautiful. So it takes us a little further into the stretch. And again, if it's too much, dial it down a notch. Notice where there might be tension here. Sink into the posture if you can. One final breath in. One final breath out. And then we've got that slightly strange transition again. So we melt hips back towards our heels. Lovely, as if you're coming into a child's pose and then rolling up through the spine. Left hand finds the outside edge of the right knee. The right arm reaches back behind you, rolling that right shoulder back. Take a breath. Exhale, hold here, or maybe wrapping right arm around your lower spine. See if those right fingertips can meet the inner hip crease on the left-hand side this time. Lovely, well done. Then again, there might be little differences one side compared to the other. Take another breath in. Take another breath out. As we inhale, start to unravel. And just bring the palms of the hands to your thighs for a moment. And bring a little bit of free movement into your torso. So you might take a couple of circles with the rib cage. You might come into a bit of a kneeling cat-cow. So you might lift the heart up to the sky, chin to sky. Exhale, moving into a curve. Or you might just be kind of moving all the way around here. Keeping it slow, finding all these new places for stretch. Feel free to lean into those places a little bit more. And again, take your time. Lovely, well done. Side bends here and there. It might be quite nice to close the eyes as you do this so we can really tune into our bodies and our breath. Lovely, well done. One more breath in. One more breath out. Lovely, well done. Okay. From here, slowly slide the hands out in front of you, coming into, again, tabletop. Take a breath. And as we exhale, simply control the lower. So you can come down to a little modified chaturanga here. So you hug those elbows and softly control the lower all the way down towards the mat. As you land here, separate the legs slightly, toes point out, the heels are in. Then we're going to bring the elbows underneath our shoulders, arriving in a little sphinx posture here. So again, you can check the distance between your elbows, making sure they're nicely nestled underneath the shoulders by tapping your arms here so they're not too far apart, not too close. Slightly gently resting the fingertips down. And then maybe gently kind of pushing your pubic bone down towards the mat. So you can kind of lift it through the heart, shoulder blades down and away. So feel those shoulder blades slide down the back here. And you can hold here, you can take a moment of stillness, closing the eyes. Or you might bring a little bit of free movement into the head and the neck. So you might take some half neck rolls here. You might just simply turn the head from side to side, looking up, looking down. Anything goes. Lovely, well done. So super gentle back bend, kind of counteracting those many forward folds that we've done so far. Okay, let's take one more breath in. One more breath out. Okay. Fold your right forearm in. So your right forearm comes parallel to the top of your mat. Bend into your left knee. Squeeze that left heel towards your sit bone. And then maybe see if we can reach the left hand around, find and take hold of those left toes. If we can't quite get to the grip of the toes here, you can use a strap or a belt to help find the foot for you. And then from here, let's see if we're going to keep pushing the hips down towards the mat. Maybe you bend into that left elbow, pull the left heel in more. And then we send this left shoulder down towards the mat. So a lovely stretch for the front of that left thigh here. Keep the heart ever so slightly lifted. Take another breath in. Take another breath out. And we can release that left leg. Try not to allow that left foot to ping back behind you too much as you let go. Left hand comes around, rests on top of the right. And then we pull this left knee up to our left side body. It's up to you how far up it comes. It might stay a little bit down low, entirely up to you. Turn your gaze to look towards the left. And then we bring the right side of the face down towards the back of the hands. Beautiful. This is a little bit of a hip opener. This is a great place just to be and rest. So I'm going to take a few moments here. What do you notice whilst you're in this pose? Are you simply following your breath? Are you looking out for any little sensations in the body? Any subtle messages telling you what the body needs here? Let's stay for about 3 more breaths. Good. Okay. On your next inhale, start to lift your gaze, look back ahead of you, lengthen the left leg back. Find your Sphinx pose again, so elbows come underneath the shoulders, we lift the heart, pushing the hips down, shoulder blades slide down the back. Just take a moment here, breath in, breath out. And let's repeat on the other side. So we fold left forearm in, so it comes parallel to the top of the mat. Bend into your right knee, squeeze that right heel into the sit bone. And then with the right hand, reach around, maybe taking hold of the foot. And again, you can use a strap here if you need to. Think about pushing the hips down towards the mat and maybe bending the elbow to pull that foot in closer. And then we send this right shoulder down. So we're not lifting this right shoulder up to the sky. See if you can send it down towards the mat and gaze ahead of you. Again, there's that beautiful stretch for the front of the thigh, the real kind of getting into that really deep muscle there. Beautiful. You might also feel it in the hip flexors. Lovely. Take one more breath in. And one more breath out. Gently release into that right foot. Right hand lands on top of the left. And then fold that right knee up your right side body. And again, you can walk it further up a couple of times should you wish. Turn your gaze to look towards the right and gently bring the left side of the face down towards the back of the hands. Taking this beautiful resting pose on the other side. And just seeing what we notice here. Notice how your mat perhaps gives way to, as it welcomes you, it cushions you there. And even if you're not using a mat today, whatever kind of ground or surface you are on, just notice how it supports your body today. Maybe you can even imagine yourselves melting through that surface, seeping deeper and deeper as you surrender, finally meeting the earth. Let's take one more breath in, one more breath out. Lovely. Gently lifting your gaze, looking ahead. Send right leg back behind you, exactly like we did before, and gently bring elbows underneath the shoulders back to your Sphinx. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. And then from here, you're going to allow your elbows to slide out to the sides a little bit. And I want you to think of coming onto your backs in the most effortless way possible. So maybe you think for a minute, okay, how can I move onto lying onto my back with the least effort here? So depending on which way you go, you might think about threading one arm underneath, gently rolling over here. So you don't need to bring the body all the back upright. It doesn't matter if you're kind of facing away from your screen now. You're simply finding your way onto your backs with as least effort as you can here. And as you arrive here, you can take a moment. The knees can be bent if you prefer. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Now when you're ready, simply fold this right knee into the chest forward. Take hold of the shin, maybe the back of the thigh, your choice. You can keep left knee bent. You might want to lengthen the left leg, only if that left leg can really lie comfortably here. So I'll leave that up to you. As you hug this right knee in, you might give it a couple of sways side to side. And noticing your spine massaging into your mat here, particularly your lower spine. Take a breath. And then from here, moving into a spinal twist. So you're going to send this right knee across the body over towards the left hand side. You can use that left hand to guide it there as you go. And maybe you stretch right arm out towards the right hand side. And you can follow those right fingertips with your gaze, or maybe you're looking up to the sky, or maybe the eyes are closed. Coming into this gentle twist here. And yogi's choice, depending on how far you want to go. This right knee might meet the ground on the left hand side, or it might kind of be hovering here. Both are absolutely okay. Just allowing that right hip to lift, but seeing if we can keep right shoulder blade down towards the mat. Surrender here. Take another breath in. Another breath out. Inhale slowly. Coming back through center. Bring that right knee into the chest again as you go. Hugging it in. Bending back into that left knee should you wish. Take a breath. And as you exhale, start to kick your right heel to the sky. It's up to you. You might take hold of the back of the right calf or the right thigh. You may have the space in your body to reach towards the foot here. But wherever you are reaching to, try to ensure that your shoulder blades and the back of the head are still nice and supported. So sometimes it's not always reaching about or thinking about how far can we go here, how far can we push. Sometimes it's just about being happy where you are. So whether that's the foot, the calf, or the thigh, does not matter. As long as we're still nicely grounded towards the mat. So there might even be a little bend in this right knee here to take the pressure off. We're still kind of targeting the hamstrings. Lovely, well done. Let's take a breath in here. Take a breath out. Fabulous. Bend back into the right knee. If your left knee isn't already bent, please do so now so we can cross the right leg over the left. And then with the legs crossed, bring them in towards the chest. So you got your right knee over the left knee. And then the left hand is going to reach to take hold of the outside edge of the right foot. Right hand then reaches, see if we can take hold of the outside edge of the left foot. Flexing the feet so you're protecting the knees. We're sort of coming into a bit of a reclined cow face here. So you might feel this, particularly in the outside of your right hip. So typically, the leg that is crossed on top is the leg where we're going to be feeling this most. Lovely, well done. Incorporate a little sway from side to side. 2 more breaths here. One more. And then gently release the feet. Unravel the legs, bring the left knee into the chest, and send the right leg away, whether that's right foot down towards the mat or sending that right leg long, entirely your choice, but just repeating all of this on the other side. Beautiful. So again, swaying from side to side with that left knee. Beautiful. Working into that left hip socket. Notice how this feels for you. Take an inhale. As we exhale, spinal twist on the other side. So sending the left knee across the body, over to the right. Maybe you stretch left arm out to the left-hand side. Maybe you look up to the sky. Maybe you close the eyes. There's so many options here. In every pose we come to, there's always ways we can mix up, make little adjustments here and there, not necessarily to just take the pressure off, but just to find where you're most comfortable. Find where you can simply just breathe here. Again, without any of those expectations or pressures. Take another breath in. Take another breath out. Let's inhale. Slowly bring that left knee back through center. Hugging it back in towards the chest, and again taking hold of the shin, the back of the thigh. Inhale here. Exhale, start to kick the left heel to the sky, and again either reaching for the foot, the calf, or the back of the thigh. You might notice one side feels a little bit different compared to the other. That's absolutely okay here. Keep a bend in the knee if you wish. Lovely, well done. Gentle stretch down the back of the left leg. And the shoulder blades are still grounding down here. So really, if you do find yourself kind of reaching for the foot and kind of yearning to go further, take a break. Try not to put too much pressure on yourselves here. Okay. Doesn't matter. Take one more breath in here. One more breath out. Bend into that left knee. If your right knee isn't bent already, please do so. So this time we cross the left leg over the right. And then with the knees crossed, let's bring them in towards the chest for that reclined cow face. So right hand takes hold of the outside edge of the left foot. Left hand reaches around, takes hold of the outside edge of the right foot. Flex into the feet to protect your knees. And you might find that the knees stack on top of one another here, or they might not. Again, it doesn't necessarily matter here. You're perhaps feeling this down the outside of your left hip most. But continue that gentle rock, that sway from side to side. 2 more breaths. One more. Gently release both feet, unravel the legs. Bring both knees in towards the chest here, taking one final little hug. One more little sway. You might even kind of curl yourselves up into a little ball here if you wish. But then slow and steadily start to release the soles of the feet down towards the mat. You can separate the feet perhaps about mat distance apart and take a few moments just to simply sway the knees from side to side. So there might be some tension that has maybe built up in the hips here. So just take a moment to let everything release, let everything melt away. Taking one more breath in. And as we exhale, maybe we can start to think about bringing in some stillness to come into our relaxation. So wherever you'd like to be for your relaxation is absolutely fine by me. You might keep the knees bent, pointing up to the sky. You might extend the legs long. Or alternatively, it might be quite nice to let the knees fall out to the side and the soles of the feet together for your Supta Baddha Konasana, your reclined butterfly. But I know that this pose can get quite intense after a while. So if you decide to come here and you feel that intensity build so much that it becomes uncomfortable, know that again, you can move out of it. You can draw those knees to a close whenever you choose. So don't feel as though you have to stay. Wherever you are, close off the eyes, close off the outside world. Settling here. So even though we are kind of drawing near to the end of our practice, we still want to make the most out of the final few minutes that remain. So indulging in this little bit of time, getting the most out of the practice as we possibly can, whether that's the time to rest, the time to notice, or time to just be. And as you continue to surrender yourselves here, maybe, like I said at the beginning, maybe we can get that tiny little sense of what it might be like to be free. It might be a sense of freedom within your bodies or in your mind. And again, it might just be a very brief, tiny moment. Take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Twice more, deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more time, deep breath in, deep breath out. Now slowly start to bring some movement in that feels good for your body today. We can start super small, gradually building ourselves up, starting with the fingertips, the toes. Maybe you gently use your hands to bring those knees to a close. You can sway the knees again. Hug the knees into the chest. Take a good old stretch, whatever you want to move to. Take a couple of moments just to explore, wake yourselves up. And then when you're ready, choose a side, either the left or the right. Roll all the way over onto that one side. There's no rush here. You can even pause here for a moment if you wish, or maybe you gently use your hands to help you as you rise back up to seated. Almost like where we started today. See if we can keep the eyes closed as we go. Nestling those sit bones down into the ground. Spine is nice and tall, the crown of head to the sky. Resting those palms, the hands on the knees. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. And as always, we seal our practice with the final blessing. May the sun bring you new energy by day. May the moon softly restore you at night. May the rain wash away your worries. And may the breeze blow new strength throughout your being. And may you walk through the world knowing its beauty all the days of your life. And with that, we bring the palms and hands together in front of the heart. And we bow. Namaste. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I do hope you enjoyed taking a little bit of time out of your day to move slow, calmly, peacefully, and I hope it's left you feeling good. So, if you did enjoy it, of course, please do feel free to share, comment, let me know how you got on. I always love to hear from you. But if not, I will see you next week with another free class from me. I'll see you then. Mwah.